Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to another StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm commentary. Of course, this is Promise. Bringing you guys another game. I'm actually on Liquid TLO's personal vision. But let's go ahead and get the everyone vision here for this game. And let's introduce who we have playing. So, I guess I kind of ruined it for the introductions, but let's just get into the game. So, in the bottom left, of course, we have our Blue Zerg player representing Team Liquid. It is going to be Liquid TLO, aka Dario Vunch, aka the Little One. And in the bottom right, of course, representing Empire, which is a Russian-based organization. I'm pretty sure it's Russian. It's like Russian or Ukrainian. I should have just stuck with European, but it's going to be a Red Terran player here. It is Cass. So it's going to be a nice little ZVT, which is kind of a matchup I've been enjoying a lot in Heart of the Swarm. Cass, known to be very macro-oriented in this matchup. But, you know, again, in general, Terrans have really been kind of focused on very, very heavy economical play in this matchup. Quick third command centers, double engineering base, of course, if you're going to be focusing on bio in this game, or just in the matchup in general. I'm not really too sure what's going to happen in this game. That's what we're going to be finding out. But yeah, it's very standard to just go into very, very quick third command centers here for Terran in the Terran versus Zerg matchup. Now, his opponent, on the other hand, Liquid TLO, quite honestly, it is very hard to predict or to put some things together to assume what TLO is going to be doing in this matchup. He's kind of a player that likes to do a little bit of everything. He can be aggressive. He can, you know, play very, very creative. Something I've actually seen TLO do quite a bit is get a queen out here, drop a creep tumor, actually make like a hatchery, cancel it, and then drop a creep tumor, and then all of a sudden your opponent can have the creep at their side of the map by like the 11-minute mark, something ridiculous. So that's just a little bit of an idea of the creativity that TLO likes to do. He's definitely not a player that, you know, does what other people do. I'm pretty sure he studies replays of other top professionals, Europeans, North Americans, or Koreans, although I highly doubt he looks at any North American replays. But just a player that likes to kind of figure things out on his own. So far, build orders, let's talk about that. Guys, looks like TLO is just going for the 15 hatchery, very standard. Bread and butter here of Zerg versus Terran, followed by this pool. So he has not grabbed any sorts of gas yet, which means he's not going to have possibilities of going into metabolic boost, any quick roaches. Of course, that's going to be a little bit delayed, but we'll see if it's going to be that quick 3 hatch play, and it looks like TLO might actually be going for... Okay, I was going to say, man, he's up to 300 minerals. He might have been trying to play it a little bit more ZVP-esque with that 3-base, gasless hatcheries, and then just drone. But he's going to make 6 lings right now, assuming that his opponent's going for Reaper, and he is going for a Reaper. So Cass, in fact, I want to talk a little bit about his build order. He grabbed gas, he went for the barracks, so barracks expand with the gas obviously can mean basically one thing right now in the current metagame. It's going to be this quick Reaper, so this is going to be very, very good for Cass to go ahead and get himself a little bit of scouting information, force out these lings. But TLO, probably having played against Cass before on the ladder, knows that you know, he likes to do this a lot in ZVT. So he's going to play a little bit safe, play a little bit smarter. Instead of making 2 or 4 lings, he's going to go ahead and actually squeeze out 6. And Cass is actually going to kill 2 of those. So not the biggest deal. TLO will be able to get away with these 4 lings. Now, I just want to note, this replay is not a ladder game. This was actually taken from GoSuGamers.net. It was a game played for the Zotac Cup. So I'm not too sure the actual final score, but this replay got pretty good ratings on the GoSuGamers website. So I told myself, hey, let's go ahead and grab it and cast this game. So back in the production tab, Cass going for the factory and the reactor. So we're going to be seeing a very standard follow-up here to this Reaper. It's just going to be reactor Hellions. There's that 3rd command center that Cass is going for, as I mentioned before. His natural has been up for quite some time. Probably going to be dropping some mules here right when that transforms into an orbital command. But now, at this point in ZVT, Cass is basically dictating this game. Unless TLO can grab map control these watchtowers, he's definitely going to be feeling a little bit more safer. But right now, TLO is in the dark. It looks like the Reaper's going to try to jump in. A little bit ballsy here by Cass. He is actually going to be able to get both Reapers in the main base. These are just for scouting information. Cass needs to see when his opponent went for gas. Is he grabbing gas? And in fact, he is. And he went for a quick lair, and TLO is actually going to cancel the lair. I'm really curious to see what he's going to do with this cancellation of the lair. He might just commit very, very heavily here into Roaches and Zerglings. His metabolic boost just now being started, and he might just abuse the metagame, quite honestly. He knows that Terrans go for the very quick third command center. He's probably just going to make a bunch of roaches and a bunch of lings and go for a little bit of pressure. Now, if he's being extremely greedy, adding double engineering bays, in fact, Cass is going for the double engineering bays, has not added any additional barracks. TLO might actually just be able to get a free win, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Cass is probably going to be able to defend it. I would love to see a little bit of a supply depot wall, maybe even a bunker in this position to go ahead and deny any kind of lings or banelings or roaches to be running into the natural expansion. But it looks like Cass, sending out those first four initial Hellions, will be able to get himself a queen. Just going to continue controlling the map here. Really good call here by TLO to go ahead and make some roaches. So many times in ZVT, you see Zerg players just rely heavily on Zergling and Baneling. And if your opponent goes heavy Blue Flame Hellions, for example, and you have no Roach Warren on the map, you're going to be in some trouble. So TLO definitely playing this a little bit safer. He's actually committing a lot, making more lings. His metabolic boost just completed, getting a Baneling nest as well. I want to look at his economy. 39 drones to 42 SCVs. And here comes the aggression here from TLO with a 20 supply advantage. Going to make his way towards the natural base of Cass, and Cass is finally going to get the wall up. But all he has is Hellions. He has some two really placed Widow Mines right at the natural expansion. Going to blow up onto these roaches, but TLO still committing to this, making some roaches, making some banelings. So TLO kind of trying to go for the very quick win. Doesn't have that many drones. In fact, he's down by 4 in the harvester count. 39 drones, excuse me, to 44 SCVs. More banelings just finished morph. 99 supply now for TLO to 76 of Cass. Cass needs to get some SCVs to repair the bunker. A little bit of a mistake there, but I don't really think it matters as we see the banelings are just going to blow through everything, and the roaches are going to march their way towards the main base of Cass. He's going to try to control with these Hellions against the roaches. Of course, the Hellions are not the best against roaches. Stim is going to finish, which is going to help a little bit, but the problem is he doesn't have any Marines, and oh my god, Cass is going to lose so many harvesters. 20 workers killed, down to 57 supply. These roaches continuing to focus down these very important harvesters of Cass. And you know, he kept the Hellions alive, and they do a little bit more damage than SCVs, but he lost so much economy. 26 workers killed, down to 26. He does have this third command, but these roaches still continuing to hack away in the main base. Cass is in a lot of trouble, and TLO is still committing to this, making more lings. Going to transition a little bit into the drone production, getting layers, so he's definitely going to be transitioning possibly into Mutalisks, maybe going into a Roach Hydra based composition to maybe go for some sort of a mid-game timing push, because quite frankly, he did so much damage that it's going to be ridiculously hard for Cass to actually come back in this game. Roaches going to still continue to squeeze in the main base. Combat Shield in the production tab. Roach is going to kill that very easily. And now finally, Cass is going to show the stim. Marauder's going to be here, of course. Great against roaches. We'll be able to clean it up, but Cass, man, 40 supply, 88 supply, 50 workers killed, 11 SCVs? What? Okay, so Cass actually lost so much economy. It's going to be nearly impossible. Honestly, guys, it's basically impossible here for Cass to come back in this game. And TLO going for a Nidus network. What's going on in this game? Okay, Nidus network. I like that from TLO. Again, it's a little bit of a sign here from his creativity. Is he going to get Nidus like at the natural, outside the natural of Cass? These are going to be questions we definitely want to ask ourselves, but we'll see. I think like at this point in the game, TLO can basically do whatever he wants. He can just make more roaches. He can go ahead and he is taking a third, so he's probably going to get this space saturated as soon as possible. Maybe even take a fourth in this location, or even just kill these rocks and then make this his fourth. But there is a Nidus Worm for TLO, and he's just making more roaches, man. He's ahead in economy by so much. 54 drones to 19 SCVs. Cass is now making more Marines, continuing his SCV production, desperately needs to get some kind of economy on this map to be able to produce anything, and another Nidus Worm from TLO. And I actually really like this. This is like a defensive Nidus Worm for TLO. In case everything dies and this gets focused down, he can easily just go back here and defend any kind of possible medevac drops or any little bit of a counterattacks in case Cass decides to do that. But now we're going to have these Widow Mines. They're going to be very annoying for TLO to deal with. He's going to need to make an Overseer immediately, just as I say that. Much safer to make 2 instead of 1. So TLO definitely on top of it this game. We'll be able to detect these Widow Mines. Cass, I mean, his 1-1 is done, and there's that drop by Cass at the third base, and there's the Nidus Swarm again. Very smartly done here by TLO. Should be able to get some units in here to be able to deal with this drop. In fact, he's just going to rally more roaches straight from the main base. Cass is going to go ahead and lift as the replay. I'm not too sure what that was about, but I don't think you guys missed too much. Okay, so TLO cleaned up the drop. And he's sending in an overseer right now in the main base to go ahead and get a little bit of scouting information. We'll be able to get a... oh my god, what is that ability called? Holy crap. Contamination. Okay, wow. I just had like the worst brain fart ever. So he's going to contaminate this engineering bay. That upgrade's going to be delayed for quite some time. But at the same time, Cass is going to move towards the third base of TLO with 2 Widow Mines, good amount of Marines, and a few Marauders sprinkled in here with the medevacs, and he's going to go ahead and focus down a few of these drones, but the roaches and the lings going to be in time. Oh my god, the Widow Mines actually killed a good amount of roaches and zerglings, but TLO is still controlling the map very nicely. 123 supply to 86. We see +2 in the production tab, as I mentioned before. Still, the main army composition for Dario, aka TLO, is just roaches, focusing on his upgrades. I believe that is 2-2 in the production tab. Yes, in fact it is. And how can Cass come back in this game? Well, he needs to drop. He needs to desperately take a third base, maybe even double expand, but his economy is not so healthy for him to be able to do that. 41 drones to 71 SCVs. We're still seeing some more overseers here coming in the main base of Cass. Not really too sure what these are going to do. Probably going to be for scouting. Might be a little bit cute and get a little bit more contaminations onto these engineering bays, is what I'm assuming TLO is going to do. But in the center of the map, we're having another engagement go down. Cass is now going to have a good amount of units. Supply count getting close, but TLO still ahead by 40 supply. These roaches, of course, not the best against these Marauders. He's going to get in the Nidus Swarm, trying to get the hell out of there. And Cass will be successful in killing it. But at the same time, TLO is taking another base. So he's going to be on 4 bases, transitioning into Hydra. So his main army composition is looking to be Roach Hydra, which is good against Bio. And if this game gets very much in the later stages... I'm talking about like 30 minutes, maybe even 25 minutes in, TLO is going to want to transfer into Vipers to go ahead and use the Blinding Cloud ability with the Roach Hydra composition, which is very, very, very powerful for the Zerg army. Actually, he's not even going to let that happen. He's going to go into Vipers right now as we're speaking into the 19-minute mark. So Roach Hydra Viper, pretty expected at this point in the game, honestly. I mean, if you're going to be going Roach Hydra, you want to mix in these Vipers to make the army a lot more effective. But Cass, slowly but surely, closing the supply count. 136 supply to 169. 2-1 has completed. He should be getting another upgrade. He's now getting started on his +2, I believe. Yeah, he is. So he's going to have 2-2 pretty soon. I mean, it's halfway completed. So, but the upgrade advantage, I would say, still in the favor of TLO. 2-1, actually. So both players are even in supply. Cass positioning these Widow Mines very, very nicely. We're having a little bit of something going on in the main base. I guess... Cass is just cleaning that up with the Marines, of course, cleaning up the Overseers, that is. But now we're going to see Cass pressure the third base. TLO has a lot of Hydras and Roaches. He's actually going to sack that Viper. Unfortunately, that's going to die, and Cass is going to pick off the expansion. That is a good way of trying to come back in this game for Cass. Getting another hatchery, possibly if he can drop into this fourth base, that would be very, very good. But that's so many Hydralisks from TLO, and he does have the Overseer in position as well. We'll be able to focus down these Widow Mines. So TLO now sprinting in supply, guys. 179 to 120 supply. 2-2 has kicked in for TLO. 2-2 is soon to kick in here for Cass. Another command center on its way. So he's hoping to try to take a fourth base. But the good thing for Cass is he has 3 bases. His main base, quite honestly, is basically mined out. So he's going to need to take a fourth base relatively soon, but I highly doubt TLO is going to let that happen. He has very, very good map control, map awareness with the medevacs. The Overlords are positioned pretty nicely here for TLO to go ahead and detect any kind of incoming medevac drops. But here comes the push from our European Zerg player. 182 supply to 134, and Cass is going to stim. He has to engage. There's no way he can let TLO just continue to get ahead in the economy, and here comes the Roaches and the Hydras, still trying to focus down these Widow Mines. The Widow Mines are doing a lot of damage, but Dario is actually going to be able to clean most of this up. I mean, Marauders and Marines are great, but when you don't have enough of them, they're not going to do too well against Roach Hydra. And TLO is now forcing his opponent to pull the SCVs off the mineral line from the third base. 150 supply to 80 supply. Cass is losing more Harvesters. 65 workers lost in this game. That is just so much economy down the drain here from Cass. And it looks like TLO very close to taking this game. I mean, the supply count kind of tells the tale. 4 base to 3 base. Of course, Cass did make the 4th base. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to mine from it. But more reinforcements coming here from Cass with the Marines and the Marauders to try to clean this up. But it's looking very, very, very dire for Cass to try to kind of do anything in this game. 154 supply to TLO. I was going to say 100 and something for Cass. He only has 86 supply. Command Center goes down. We're going to have another final stim here from Cass. SCVs trying to tank some damage here against the Hydras and the Roaches, but Cass is going to lose all of the SCVs. Probably going to lose all these Marines. Medevac just flying in there, getting focused on by the Hydralisks. TLO is going to win this game, guys. 130 supply to 57. Cass, just very, very unfortunate loss. You cannot lose 30 SCVs in the early game in Zerg versus Terran. It's just... I mean, he's on 2 base. He went for the very, very quick 3rd base. Extremely greedy with a double engineering base. So he's not adding on barracks. He's not making any siege tanks. And I feel that if he might have gotten the Widow Mines before his double engineering base, he definitely would have been in a better position to at least try to defend the drop. And didn't pull SCVs to repair the natural bunkers. So TLO doing game-winning damage in the early stages, basically. I mean, if you're going to kill that many units or that many SCVs, it's going to be very hard for you to actually lose the game. So anyway, congratulations to TLO for taking this game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cast. Make sure you click the subscribe button onto my YouTube channel. And with that being said, stay safe, good luck, and have fun.